Hey everybody, this video is for those who have RTX 3060 laptops and 3070 laptops, 3080 laptops, and for those who have a desktop, hey, you join in on. It's applied to you as well. Also, those who have the GTX cards. Now, some of us might feel that our tech might be starting to become outdated, such as our 3060, 3070s, now that there's a new PlayStation Pro coming out, or feeling that, hey, you want to still keep up with the latest and greatest. Well, I want to let you know that, yes, these laptops are powerful, and they still can keep up with some tweaking, because console software is not on the level like PC hardware software, which is not as stagnant. There's always evolving software, and there's no, how do I say this? Without software, there's no performance. You can have the worst software on the strongest card, and you'll have horrible performance, right? So that's the example. So, but good software will make your card excel, right? So what we're gonna do is, those of you who haven't downloaded this, you need to download MSI Afterburner, right? So you need to download MSI Afterburner, and then after that, what I'd like you guys to do is go online and download MSI Utilities V3. And what this is going to help us get our FPS up by increasing priority to our GPU and CPU. So we're going to download that, and when you do that, what we're going to do is we're going to keep this here, keep that there. Let's keep that in the back burner for right now. And download NVIDIA driver and Studio driver 528.24. This is an older driver, but the reason why I'm saying download this driver is because this driver was the only ones that unlocked the power slider here, which you see right here, and the afterburner. And when I want to talk about that is go deeper into that, is because if you have RTX, cards or laptop cards that are 130 watt or 140 watt, maybe even 100 watt, and it claims that it's 103 watts, but you're constantly seeing 120, 119, or 115, and then if you have a 140 watt card, you're constantly seeing 125, and you're like, where is this extra performance at? I'm not seeing it. Sometimes dynamic boosts will push close to those watts, to like 130, 140, but sometimes it leaves a little margin of error or safety. I don't know the reason why, but this driver will unlock the power slider, so we can turn off the dynamic boost and give it the straight 130 or 140 watts that we want to see in our gaming. So once you do that, you download these drivers, go to MSI Utility. Like I said, we're going to run that as administrator. So run as administrator. Yes. You're going to find your CPU. Mine is a AMD Radeon 5900 HS, because I have a Asus Zephyrus G15 RTX 3070 that's been flashed to 140 watts. Now, if you also flashed a higher wattage, you can lose performance if you don't have the proper cooling. So a cooling pad is needed, or a fresh paste, or PTM, everything cleaned up. If you have the fans inside, make sure they're clean. There's nothing obstructing them. They're not blocked. If you see the fan shroud has a hole in it, or air is leaking out, get some quality tape them up, so that way, the cooling efficiency is there. So back to this, we're going to take your AMD Radeon graphics, set it to high priority. You're going to go to the same thing for your graphic card, 3060, 3070, or GTX. You're going to set that to high priority. And then your TIMESPY scores or benchmark scores will go up, because you're allocating more priority to the CPU and GPU, and it's going to cut back on the background processes and all that. So you will see like up to 5, maybe some people 10% increase in their graphics and CPU score. All right, so let's exit out of that after you apply the settings. And now you're going to, after that, go to your control panel, go to hardware and sound, go to device manager. You're going to scroll down till you see software and devices, and you're going to see something called NVIDIA Platform Controllers and Framework. You want to disable that. That is your turbo boost that boosts you from 115 watts to 130, or 125 to 140. Like I said, you'll never see your cards hit that on your Legion or your Asus or other laptops, because they leave a couple wattage off. You always see 132, maybe 134, drop back to 120s. Like I said, this will keep it boosted all the way up, and it won't allocate any of and like I say, some games are GP bound, and it'll stay higher wattage, And a lot of games that are CPU bound, they pull some wattage from the GPU, but with this off and the driver, you will still have full CPU power and GPU power. That's the pro of this little cool little trick here. So they're not robbing each other of power. So disable that, and then when you disable that, you should have this bar fully unlocked, you know, where you can slide it all the way to the max. So when you're playing games, you should see that 130 watts maybe spike to 135. If you have a 140 watt card, you'll see it spike to 143, you know, but it'll stay close to that 140, even closer. It should be like, you know, 138, 140, and the other one 130. So those are what you want to do after this video I just ran through here. So another thing is, you know, our laptops are very strong, you know, they're not weak. So like here's RTX 3060, it's a 11 teraflop basically. With an overclock you'll get 12 and a half, maybe even 13. And if you have a 3070 laptop, you're at a 16 teraflop performance. You can get 17, maybe almost 18 with a nice overclock. The overclock I recommend is for both those laptops are 120 and 130 here. These are pretty stable. You shouldn't have any games crash. You go a little higher clocks, some games will crash, some won't, depending on the game. So that's up to you to play around. But doing this will help your FPS go up. Now, here's another one we're gonna do next. Now is to keep up with the newer consoles, such as the Pro, which a lot of people with mid-gen graphic cards that are kind of old now, like this 3070 is getting, you know, old. To pump above its weight, we're gonna download something called lossless scaling right here, and you want to download this app on the Steam. It's $7. It's frame generation for cards that don't support it. Any game and every game you can play. As long as you have an FPS over 60, this thing will boost your FPS. As long as you're like, you know, 57, 60, you're gonna get a really good smooth experience. So what I would prefer is to leave the scaling on auto, full screen, scaling type. Don't use any of these that you see here. Honestly, they're worse, especially FSR and NVIDIA. They're worse than using the DLSS and the FSR itself. So just leave it off. Set the frame duration to 2.3. Mode 2 times. If you go to 3.4, it's just kind of choppy. It looks worse. I don't recommend it. You want to go down to VSync. Make sure VSync is on. So VSyncs to your screen, and it actually helps get more FPS for some reason with this app. Turn on G-Sync and draw FPS, turn on, and set it to WGC, which shows you the new frames that you'll be getting after you turn this on while you're gaming. So to turn this on while you're gaming, like I said, turn this on. You want to hit Control Alt and S, and the new frames will pop up. But I like this one because it shows in the top left corner in white what the frame is. But if you set the other ones, they just kind of show you what the old frame was and what the new one is. I kind of just want to see the new frame because I have the MSI Afterburner and Rivia Tuner have all this stuff going to be displayed at the bottom. So you turn those on, you know, and the rest, if it's up to you what you want to do, but leave it on in the background while you play your games. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to record from my phone because this is a cheap software, so I can't really screen record Silent Hill. So we're going to go into that. I'm going to switch over now to mobile device so you can see the huge FPS gain you'll get running these current gen softwares out there in the Steam market and tutorials that I just kind of helped you out with. Okay, we're back now. So I'm going to start up Silent Hill 2, which is a pretty demanding game. What we're going to do is start it up, and we're going to play with some stuff. We're going to tweak it. So we know that the PlayStation 5 runs Silent Hill at 1080p performance mode, 60 FPS, and 1440p 30 FPS quality mode. So this laptop, which is a 3070 140 watt, runs this above 60 FPS and 1440p and high 90s to 11080p because it's stronger than the console. But we're going to show you an example how the frame generation can help any card keep up with modern console gaming, or just keep up in general, you know. So bear with me here. All right, so we have Silent Hill here. Here we go. I hope I can see in the screen. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm recording in 4K, so hopefully it will kind of help a little bit with the clarity. Okay, so here we are playing the PlayStation settings, which is TSR enabled, which is not really good, but we got a good base FPS of 64, 66, maybe a couple high 50s. It looks good. It feels smooth. Now, if you're playing, this is at 1440p, which PlayStation is locked at 30. But if we're trying to compete with the Pro model, the Pro model would basically be a 60 FPS lock. So if you're playing at somewhere around 30 FPS on your GTX, or I would say it might be a little tough for you. Might play at 1080p with frame gen and get a smooth experience. But if you are on an RTX 3060, you'll probably be in the mid 50s, which is still pretty okay for the frame gen to kick on. So what I want to do is I'm going to turn frame generation on now, and then it's going to pull some resources from the bottom here, some FPS, and then on the top it's going to show the new FPS. So here we go. And voila, now the very top I am running 102 FPS with TSR, which is the settings with PlayStation 1. So my experience is even smoother. It's not what I want because I like it a little smoother. So what I'm gonna do is to get more FPS out of this, I am going to go into my settings and turn it to, let me see, sorry, bear with me. I'm gonna go to, let's go to DLSS, quality, and now with the frame generation, my FPS is now going up to, it's going up, it's still going up, it's smoother with quality. Now I'm at 117, 121 FPS, 127, I am at 130 FPS now, so it's way better than what we were getting before. So yes, if you have a 3070 laptop, this frame generation does wonders, just like PSSR will with PlayStation 5 Pro and dynamic resolution scaling. But PC software has tricks of its own that push our hardware into better space. So I'm here playing DLSS, looks amazing, 115 FPS, 1440p. We're almost 3 times the resolution of what the PlayStation 5 was putting out. So right here we know this game will run very well, basically at what the Pro would run, or with the RTX 3070. And the 3060, you'll probably be at the same spot, maybe 110, 108 FPS, but still way above what the console will be putting out with software, with like this frame generation. So I'm gonna turn this off, frame generation off, and now you see my FPS, which you probably can't see, it's 87 at the bottom. So I'm at 87 FPS, which is still really good. It's a great smooth experience, but like I said, these are tricks to get your hardware. And if you ever notice the bottom, my wattage is still at 140 something because I'm flashed. So it's pushing 140, and these are some tricks. If you like it, follow these trips, follow these tips, guys. I ain't tripping. Yeah, but this is awesome. I mean, if you have some games that you're 60 FPS and you like a little more out of your graphic card, just get this frame generation, lossless scaling. It's awesome. It's smooth. It runs great. Right now I'm having a great experience already without it. I'll turn it on again just to show you. And now I am at over 120 FPS, 130, even smoother experience. So if you have a GTX card 3070, don't feel as if your hardware is going out of date, that you won't have a great experience as those who are getting a Pro. Believe it or not, we have software out there that help us, just like the PlayStation. It helps the PlayStation get better frame rates and smoothness. So try these settings. I'm gonna bump into a little bit more settings you can do to your graphic card if you want to continue the video. I will just keep going in this video. If you want to continue with this video, I'll do it right now. See you guys in a second. Okay, back to the main page. I'm gonna stick with here, so less editing. But what we're gonna do is, if you have Windows 11, what we're gonna do is you want to do a few things to get better performance. So what you want to do is you want to go in your settings, go to your games, your gaming,
game mode, make sure it's on. And if it's on, then go to graphics. And from graphics, go to change default graphic settings. And make sure your hardware accelerated GPU scheduling is on. And if you have, optimized for Windows games, you can turn that on as well. That helps it for people who play in that kind of style gaming. So turn those on. And then what you want to do is you also want to check out and try to find in your system core isolation. Core isolation is probably not supported in some people. I have it turned on. It's just locked away in there. But you want to go online and look around for how to turn core isolation off and memory integrity off. That gives you performance bump too. So you can Google that. Remember, core isolation and memory integrity, how to turn it off. I don't remember right now. Don't have the time, but I'm trying to make a quick video for you guys. So you want to go into those and get those turned on and off. Turn on to off for a little extra performance. But you have more vulnerability to being attacked and your system compromised. So if those of you who are online a lot, don't look at malware sites, don't download porn or anything like that, you're okay. But those who do, I would just leave core isolation and memory integrity on. You will lose a little bit of performance, but it's okay. So also in your NVIDIA control panel settings, go there. And what I like to do is, for better experience, is to go to your 3D manage settings, always set to NVIDIA high performance. And then you can turn on your low latency and turn on to ultra. You can also, I think the rest you leave. Don't turn on the power management. I know it's tempting to turn this on and turn it to prefer maximum, but it makes no difference in gaming because it just leaves your graphic card pegged, full wattage, full everything. I don't recommend that because, it's going to cause more heat and a higher electric bill probably. But if you need it for like rendering and stuff like that, it's great for that. If you need if you're on any software like Premiere Pro and stuff like that. So then you can turn that on. But, virtual reality, I would say if you play virtual reality, always leave these to adaptive, get better, smoother experience and apply after you do that. If you need an extra FPS bump, a good 4%, 3% increase, take right here, texture, filter, and quality in your control panel. High performance, you'll lose texture quality. It will look not as good, but you will get more FPS. Trust me. I like quality. I like my games look good on this 4K OLED panel. So high performance, I can kind of see the textures a little bit less. I don't like it, but you can set that if you need the extra bump to high performance. Okay, I'm back. So here with this RTX 3070 notebook, AMD Ryzen 5900HS, 140 watts. With the mods I just did, as you can see, the graphics score here is 1,609. The graphics score is 12,045 at 140 watts. So the average score for this laptop was an 80 watt, was 9,200. But I'm pushing now the graphics score of 12,045 with the flash, cooling pads, all new thermal stuff inside, liquid metal, thermal paste, and the PTM. I'm running a higher clocks and a good score. This is 140 watts with those mods, so I can maintain it. Now, when I didn't have the 140 watts with the NVIDIA driver, a newer upgraded driver, my graphics score was lower. It was around, I don't think I have any copies of it, but it was definitely, the graphics score was definitely around 11,500 versus the 12,000 graphics score. So it was like 11,300, 400. Now, when I flash it to over 150, my graphics score was 12,533, and the graphics score at the bottom was 13,200 basically. And this is 13,151, and my other one was 13,199. So yeah, so with these mods and the cooling and that driver, which is very important, and the little tips and tricks I showed you guys will help your cards get higher performance scores. If you have like 3070 now, like I said, you'll be good with the lossless scaling frame generation. You will play some really good games, really smoother FPS. As long as you have a base of 60, you should be good. And even those 4K games that are basically old, that run really high, 70, 80 already, you'll get even more. Now, if you're running a 4K game and it's not supported, like Silent Hill, I didn't show that in the video because Silent Hill, for some reason, doesn't run well with frame generation because it's under 60 FPS. It's around 45 to 51, sometimes 57, and it's just not consistent. So Silent Hill with frame generation didn't work really well, but 1440p it does. Now, if I turn it off, the frame generation, it's okay. If you don't mind playing 4K 48 to 55 FPS, hey, that's be my guess. You know, that's more than what the console's putting out anyhow. But I prefer higher FPS, smoother experience. So if you enjoy this video, please like. I don't really make these videos often, but I just see a lot of people feeling doubt about their laptops and versus these consoles coming out. A lot of the people are kind of like throwing it into you know, the gamers, the PC gamers with their graphic cards, saying, you know, all Steam players are on 30, 60, 40, 60s. And they're great cards, believe it or not. It's just when you have better software on them, they punch above their weight. It's just the same thing the PlayStation Pro is doing. It's just, you know, using PSSR and dynamic resolution scaling to get those target 60 FPS. You know, don't let all that blow smoke up you. Yes, we are console players in my house. We all have the PlayStation 5. Well, I don't have the Xbox, couldn't get one, but we have two PlayStation 5s in here. We have a 30 laptop, we have an RTX 2060, and we have an RTX 4060 in the other room. So, you know, we play all the games, all the consoles, all platforms, and you know, I enjoy my laptop, modding it. I enjoy having fun pushing it. I enjoyed it. You know, I got better experiences in a lot of games versus the PlayStation. Some games the PlayStation just ran smoother because developers are very lazy when it comes to PC ports sometimes. If it's a good PC port and the developers are lazy, it's always a better experience by far. If it's not, then I'll just go play it on a PlayStation. If the port, you know, port is bad, and you know, sometimes it could be blurrier than the console because the ports were created by the, you know, developers in a lazy mood. You know, they were just lazy or didn't want to do it. So if there is good ported games, it's always better on the PC. But like I said, guys, don't feel threatened by the new consoles coming out. These frame generations on these laptops run wonders. Like we have the 4060 runs good. We're getting into 4070, 4080 territories with frame gen and the DLSS and stuff. You know, we don't have the raw power of them, but they can punch above their weight, just like what console is doing to, you know, the PS5 Pro is being, you know, told by everyone, you know, it feels like a 4070. It doesn't have the power of 4070, but it feels like it because the little software tricks that Sony's doing. So we're just copying that and doing the same thing on PC with other apps out there. You know, lossless scaling is great. I really enjoyed it. So if you have a GTX card, 1660, 1080 Ti, you want to, you know, play at 1440p, you know, some games at 60 or 1080p, and you want a little more boost out of it, give it a shot. It's only $7. Try it out. For me, it does wonders. I like to play over 60, so it's better if you play over 60. But thanks, guys. Have a good day. Enjoy, you know, your laptops, your PCs out there. You know, they're not going to be outdated like that. You know, there's tips and tricks, which I showed you today. Keep you guys out there, you know, competing with these next gen consoles, and you know, just have fun gaming. All right, have a good one. Ha, you guys, that all done? No, I'm not. Actually, I have one more tip to get you more GPU resources. This is the final thing. I was gonna not tell you guys this, but I was hiding it, but now I'm gonna give it to you to help with more performance. So go into your right here, this browser, which is always on your Microsoft Edge. Go into the three dots here, go to settings. Now go to system and performance. And what you want to do is you see this thing that says continue running background extensions on apps when Microsoft Edge is closed. You want to turn that from on to off. It's on by default. That robs resources. So when you're not even on Microsoft Edge and you close out, it's still running off your GPU, CPU, and hogging resources. So turn that off. Okay, so that's one last secret thing to help your graphics card score go up. Okay, this is a big one. Steam actually uses your GPU. when you are playing your game, Steam will rob 8 to 10% of your GPU sometimes maybe 5 or 10. But that's FPS right there. That's instability. So what you want to do is go into Steam, go into settings, go into interface. When you go in interface, scroll down slowly till you see something that says GPU, enable GPU accelerated rendering and web views. Turn that off. When you turn that off, you'll notice that Steam is not using your GPU when you open it. It's not at all. It doesn't use GPU resources while you're playing your games. So when you turn it off, that also helps everything. So these are all the little tips that I was trying to conceal, but I'm giving it to you guys. A lot of people don't realize. So turn it off, and that will also help more performance, because some of these apps in your computer will steal resources from your GPU and CPU. Okay guys, enjoy some games. All right, goodbye.